So today, guys, we're doing a zero fade, yeah? And to take into account with what you can see on the client's hair now, tell me the things that you think that I would definitely need to ask you.
Definitely how high I want it, right?
Yeah?
Whether the parting's disconnected.
There we go, that's what we're going to get. And we can see that he's got a parting, can't we? Yeah? So that's the main thing that I want. When I come over to you, I want to hear, is your client having a parting? Even if he's not, and it doesn't look like it at all, I want to hear you say, no, Errol, he's not having a parting, or yeah, Errol, he's having a disconnection. Yeah? Another thing, let me just put the gown around the client.
Just to confirm, not all partings are necessarily disconnected, are they?
It's still classed as disconnection.
Is it? Okay.
Because the whole reason what we call it is having a parting is basically parting out two different lengths of hair.
Okay.
So that's called a disconnection. So you have really short and really long. That's the whole reason for it. If someone, you know, said to you, I want it all the same length, but sometimes when it grows out a bit, I put a parting. For me, I wouldn't class that as a disconnection because it's all the same length and he's not going to have it now. When it grows out, it's really quick. But to actually put in a parting now while you're cutting it, that's when it's classed as a disconnection because we've got to make sure that it sits in the perfect way. If we had it all the same length and it wasn't parted, but later on he will, that's just because that's how he wants to style it. It may not sit perfect for a parting because it's not been cut in that way, but that's another reason why we ask the client, do you want it to be disconnected? Do you want a parting? So then we can part out the way so it sits perfectly. Because you see with some people, I may cut your hair, you haven't got a parting, suddenly 2 weeks later you go to put a parting in. When you part it over, you might get some little strands of hair that look a little bit too long and uneven for the haircut. That's the whole reason why, if we're doing a disconnection, we've got to make sure. Because what you don't want is the client to go home and say, hold up, I've put a parting in, but I've got long bits. All it is because he's not asked for a disconnection, so we've not cut it in that way. Yeah?
So that's kind of good advice, isn't it, for the customer? If you're going to plan to have a parting, have it cut with a parting.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing we can do, guys, is with our disconnection, if we're unsure if it is disconnected or not, even if the client has it slightly over, another way you find out if it's a disconnection is if you just comb everything over and pull it over to the side. So now we're seeing if it's connected on both sides. We can see that it's slightly longer when it comes over, so it's not connected, so it's a disconnection. Even if the client does not wear it in a parting, but we comb it over and it's slightly longer, we know it's disconnected, so then we've got to clarify. The reason why your hair is disconnected is maybe because it's a little bit too long for the sides, so the person put a disconnection in. Personally, I would put the disconnection in properly, make it look nice and neat, but at the same time, you won't see it as a part, because I think it was Matthew, he had a client last week, and the guy didn't want a disconnection, but his hair was disconnected. And all that was because he had so much hair going back and it was short on the sides, you had to disconnect it. Because to blend that in, all you're going to get is a point on the top. Yeah? So these are other things of why we disconnect it as well. So we can disconnect it without it looking like a parting as well. Yeah? It just depends on how they wear it. Yeah? So I'm going to do my consultation now on my client. So as I was just saying, having hair in a pot. Yes, perfect. And we are going for a mid to high, you said. So would you like it back there? So even though the client said to me he wants a mid to high, I always still put my fingers in, because what I see with a lot of you, when you're cutting a client's hair, you should come over to me, oh Errol, he's having a high fade, and I come over and it looks more mid to low. And I'm like, that's not high, that's mid to low. And all of you suddenly go, oh, I've got to bring it up. And I'm like, no, ask the client first, because he might like that. It just might mean that he said it wrong. Yeah? So that's why, when I say that, don't automatically think you've done it wrong, Because a client might say, my client might say, I want a high fade. Okay, I put my fingers there. Oh no, I want it lower to there. Okay, in his head he thinks it's high. So when I come over, you can say to me, oh, he asked for a high fade, but when I actually looked at how high he wanted it, it was more like a mid to low. Little things like this, don't be alerted and think you've done it wrong. Because you can always say to the client, oh, I'm really sorry, is that too low for you? And they'll say to you, yeah, actually you can have it higher. Yeah? So it doesn't mean you've done it wrong. So, on this client, we're going to go, I would class it more mid. Yeah? So, we're going to put the 0 line in there, yeah? So, and on the top, before you take your glass off, that's alright. Would you like, you said about a centimetre, so should we go about that much? Yeah? Perfect. There we go. And feel free to drop over here. So, just remember guys, when you're doing a 0 fade, a 1 fade, a 0.5, it's all similar things. You're doing all the same thing, it's just you're adding in a different grade. That's all it is. It's only one more grade you're adding, yeah? So, if you can do a 1 fade, don't feel you can't do a 0.5 fade or a 0 fade. It's just one little more, like one more step to do. The rest of the fade you're still doing exactly the same. And if you do the rest of the fade right, it's only the bottom bit you got to change. Yeah? So, I'm going to go with my 2. And remember, when we're having a disconnection, comb everything else away from our parting. And from our parting, we comb right into our clip work. Yeah? So, like I was saying to you guys, there's 3 curvatures in the head. We've got one right at the bottom here, that if you feel on your own head, you'll feel it. But one right at the bottom here, where it slightly dips in. That's the first curvature. We've got another one on the midway here. You probably feel here, where you can feel it, where the protruding point comes out. There's one there, and slightly higher, right around the curvature. And if you imagine, with your clipper work, that curvature right at the top is more used for your higher guard. So remember when I tell you that you slightly come in at an angle, that's your higher guard positioned on that spot. That's why we are still coming square, but we're coming square to the shape of the curvature. Yeah? So if I'm going come square from there, obviously you're going to look and go, that don't look square, that's at an angle. But what I mean is squared to that protruding point, that curvature. So we find out where that is and we go from there, yeah? So with my client, I'm going to go with my first guard, and most of your clipper work will go from the most protruding point, what is the second curvature, yeah? And if you notice, with that second curvature, it slightly curves round. Yeah, so this is the most protruding point here, and it slightly curves round. With our first guard, we always tend to come off about here. Because with our next guard, we're going to come off there. Yeah?
When you're doing fades though, don't you want to make sure that first guard covers your line?
Yeah. Yes, of course, of course. So with my client, because he's having it mid-fade here, I'm going to come off with my 2 there, but it's going to take all this weight off. Yeah? If my client was having more of a high fade here, I'm going to picture myself more from coming just above it. Yeah? But that's when it gets a little bit more complicated. Really, all you want to sort of like think about is the shape of the head and where it comes off. Because what you don't want to do is always having a higher fade. That means I put my 2 off this most protruding point here, and suddenly you've gone too much into the curvature, and you don't want that. So sometimes you can always come with the middle and always just take it off there and then put your line in, and then you can just work from it. Because once you've got your line in, you're working just below your line and then coming up from it, yeah? So, we're going to come in from the middle. And remember what I said, when we're doing our clipper work, with our first guard, don't worry about coming from the bottom. Just come in from that most protruding point, yeah? And I always tell you to come in this way and rotate round on the spot. Reason why is because if you come flat to it, you're just pushing the hair away from your clipper, yeah? If we slightly come in, you're pulling the hair into your clipper work. That's why I tell you to do it, yeah? So, coming slightly in, rotating on the spot, coming up square, yeah? And then you can do a little bit of rubbing as well. And what you can notice as well, guys, is when you're doing it, you'll do this with your clipper work as well, when you're doing your fade. When you're doing with your fades as well, if you think of when we're coming in with our clipper, it's like a rocking motion. So when you're coming in, you're scooping in and then you're leveling up to go square, yeah? So that's what you got to think of. The same thing, so I'm rotating in, leveling up, coming up straight, yeah? And then you can see when you look in the mirror that there's not that much weight to deal with now, yeah? Same again. But now we're angling our clipper because we've gone straight, now we're angling, yeah? But now guys, that most protruding point is dipping with it as well. So when you feel the shape of your head, feel your own head, that second curvature, it actually dips when it comes down. Can you feel it? That's what we're coming off the whole way. So the shape of the head is actually showing you where to go, yeah? So we're coming off from here, rotating, up square, yeah? And remember, we're going square off of that protruding point. Not square of how everything is straight in the world. We're coming off that curvature, yeah? So, another thing guys, when we're doing fades below our 2, we always take our 2 at the top of the curvature, yeah? When we're going with a 2 back and sides of 3 or 4, we're then taking it coming off just below the occipital bone. So as you can see, this is the occipital bone sticking out here. When you're doing a 2 back and sides or 3 or 4, you're coming from here, coming up square there. If you're doing a 1 back and sides or lower, or 1.5, you're going to come with your 2 up here, right on that protruding point, coming up square. If you slightly come in here, you're going to go around the curvature, and that's where you get that dip and the occipital bone sticks out. So it's either right on the protruding point of the occipital bone, or just below it coming out. Yeah? So. And the reason why we do that is because we're going so short with our clipper work. That's why we're taking the 2 slightly higher. Yeah? Thank you. And remember guys, how I keep saying to you, the first guard is very important, yeah? Another thing guys, make sure your wires are always untangled, yeah? It just causes a lot of problems when you're cutting hair, yeah? So now we're doing exactly the same thing on the other side. So you can see from what I've done here, we've got no weight, yeah? Cool. Now we're gonna match it, the same thing, coming in from the second curvature, coming up square, yeah? Remember, we're coming square to that curvature on the hedge, yeah? By us doing this, now, even if I finish the haircut like that, all I need to do is scissor overcomb that edge, rather than putting a higher guard. So you see how much it makes your life easier as well, yeah? Then we match it up at the back. And if we feel there's any more that needs to come off, we can go over it, yeah?
I have a question.
Yeah, cool.
When your clipper is on this here,
Yeah?
the guard is touching the skin or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time it isn't is imagine if you was doing a low fade, yeah, a really low fade. Let's say the client said, I want a 2, really low, yeah, let's say. So you're coming off this point here, the lowest curvature, and you're coming up square from that curvature. If slightly the head here comes right in, you notice, look, I'm coming up square and I'm not going to be on the head anymore. So I'm always coming off square off the curvature that I use, yeah? But with most of the clipper guards, you will still be on the head, yeah? All it is just getting that strength in your hand to feel it coming off square from that curvature you're using, yeah? Thank you. So now, what are we doing, guys? 0 line, yeah? And remember, always drop down with your brush, yeah? Because we're going below now. So now I'm going to put in the line where the client wanted, just to confirm about there. Yeah? So I'm going to come in from the bottom. As I can see, his beard's quite short. So I know I don't need to worry about taking all of that sideburn off, because I know he's not going to keep that, yeah? So we're going to come up to the line. And the same thing again, slightly flick out. Yeah? Just on that spot. But even as well, look at where I'm doing it. I'm slightly doing it just on the spot. It's only a little slight flick, yeah? It's just to remove any weight that's overhanging, yeah? And as you can see, guys, I'm still going square until we get to the mastro bone. And can you see it's mirroring my 2? It's the same amount of width the whole way around I'm going to do now. So now I'm going to rotate.
That's a question about
Yeah?
If you're going in like that, you see a lot of people pressing in a line for 0.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it better to do that?
This one's safer. Reason why, when you go pressing it in with a line, you're making it shorter. So all that's going to do is now it's going to be harder for you to blend out. But what you normally find that with is they do it with this one. So they press it out with this, and then they've got to turn it around and flicking it out to get that line out, and then you've got to try and work it back into this. So this is the most easiest way to do it. Yeah? They just tend to do it because they want to get really short, but the fact of working down our grades is going to make your life easier. So if I was to go with detailers, I would literally come in and just do a C motion, flicking out, just below the line. Yeah? But obviously you don't want to take it too close to the line, because then you're going to end up creating a line. Yeah? Because you've got to remember this is a lot shorter than this 0. So yeah, that's just people that want to look more fancy. And, yeah. They do it, some teachers here do it on the advanced courses, like that, but everyone's got their own way. Yeah? See how at the same time, guys, I'm clearing all of my excess off as well, so I can see exactly where my line is. Yeah? This is what I want to see from all of you, because I'm coming over and I'm seeing that you've still got excess little hairs. So when you come to doing your tapering, you just end up creating a line, because you've not taken every bit off. So that's going to end up creating a line, yeah? So always remember that. You've got to work down your grade. So if I'm going to taper, I know it's really short, so I'm not going to be doing much. But if I'm going to taper, I want to clear everything off. So when I do come in with my next guard, what's lower, it's not going to create a line. Because if this was, let's just say, I was doing a 2 back and sides, and I'd done a 2 back and sides, but down here was more like a 3, and then I went to go with a 175, and the 3 goes higher than where I want my 175 to go, what's going to happen? It's going to create a line, and it's going to look even shorter than what it's meant to look, yeah? So these are the things that we've got to take into account, yeah? Just put your head down for me slightly. Perfect. And as you can see, guys, I'm slightly rounding it, yeah?
I have another question.
Yeah?
When you go round,
Yeah?
also here and here, you cut with the whole blade, or you use only the half?
No, the whole one.
The whole one.
Yeah. Yeah? So, now I'm going to match on the other side. So how do I match it? Fingers, yeah? So just put your head up for me. So you see how I've not let go until I can see where it is. Yeah? And square again. Clearing everything off at the same time so I can see exactly where it's going, yeah? Another thing, guys, always make sure that this first bit is square. Because if you start to drop it a little bit, by the time you get to the back, it's going to be slightly lower, yeah? And then when you start to look at the back to say, oh, is it matching? You're going to see that it's so much lower, and then you're going to think, oh, what do I need to bring up? And sometimes it can be just from this point here, yeah? We stand from the back, see if there's anything that needs correcting. And at the same time, guys, you want to make sure that your zero line's really clean as well. And you know why that is? Because when you put your 025 in, remember it's short enough so you can take out that 025. If you leave it slightly longer on patches, it's just going to look like you've got a line everywhere. Yeah? Because obviously, if you've left little bits that are longer, suddenly when you're taking out that 0, this patch is not going to be as short as the 0 next to it. Yeah? So that's why we've got to make sure it's all the same all the way around. Yeah? So now, look at that, guys. When your haircuts look like that, then you can move on to the next step. So look at that, because that's how I want it to be. Yeah? Nice and clean. Yeah, can we all see that? So now, clear off all the excess. Keep doing this as well, because you don't want the client feeling itchy at all, yeah? So now, we've got our 0 and we've got our 0.5, yeah? Now we're going to go in between it to a 0.25, yeah? And all we're going to do is, it doesn't have to be a centimetre, but I normally judge it as a centimetre, because that tends to take the 0 out. All we're trying to do is get rid of that 0 line, yeah? But I normally say a centimetre normally takes it up. So by taking it up about that much, you normally clear out the 0, yeah? So, coming in, and you see how I'm doing that same sort of motion again, exactly how I've just done the 0. Coming in and clipping out, yeah? So already, guys, can you see what I've done? So this is where my 0 was, and now that's the 0.25. Come and have a look, James. And now, can you see that you can't even see that 0 line, what was underneath it? Yeah? That's when you know you've cleared it enough. So remember, you're not trying to go in with your 0.25 just to make another line. The whole sole purpose for it is to get rid of that 0 line. So all I want to see is nothing underneath it. I want to look at that and think, oh, is that a 0 line again? Even though you know it's not, it's slightly longer, that's how clean you want it to look. Yeah? So carry on all the way around, yeah? You see how I keep rubbing over it as well, just to make sure I clear it, yeah? And then guys, remember, now I'm going to rotate. You've got to do exactly the same thing. You're mirroring it exactly, yeah? See the difference? Yeah, that 0 line's going now, yeah? Always on the back as well, guys, you can notice that it's a lot more dense. You see how you can still see a shadow of a line? Just put your head slightly down for me. Can you see that, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Slight, isn't it?
Yeah? So you just need to push a little bit firmer, not too hard, and you want to stretch out the skin as well. So by putting the client's head down can help you as well, yeah? And now it's starting to fade away, yeah? And now with this, guys, we've already got our guide, so I don't need to go back to the front, yeah? Even though I'm creating another line, my main purpose for this is to get rid of that 0 line. Yeah? So if that 0 line doesn't look like it's cleared underneath here, it means you're not done, yeah? Because trust me, what you're going to notice is you'll do your fade and then you'll still see a line at the bottom that you won't be able to get out, and that's because you're 0. Yeah? So that's why this point here is very important, yeah? This guard, what I'm doing right now, is going to make your life easier. You see, I've not taken it up that much higher, yeah? That's the sole purpose, just to take the 0 out. You know, it's just so much easier to explain, don't worry that you're making another line, yeah? Because you're gonna, yeah? Because if I didn't say make another line, you're gonna naturally be a little bit too careful and you're not gonna take out that 0 properly, yeah? So don't worry if you're creating another line, because by slightly flicking it, that's what's gonna not make too much of another line, yeah? So when you come to blending it out, it'll be fine.
And you said about a centimetre, did you?
Yeah, just about a centimetre. But like I said, some people's hair is different. So if it's very thick, you might have to take it slightly higher, yeah? But what you've got to take into account at the same time is you still need enough space to fade. So if you take it too high, that's why I always say a centimetre is a good amount. Because I've cleared it off, yeah? So now, I've done that. I can see, again, it's all the same all the way around, yeah? Now, what would I do next, guys? Because this bit you would definitely know. Perfect, there we go. So we get a 175. We're going to do exactly the same thing as what we normally do, yeah? So remember what we done on Friday, guys? We're going to come in on this little bit here. Yeah? We're not going to come like that anymore, we're going to come like this. Yeah? And we're doing that rocking motion. Remember, to rub out the line, we're doing this rocking motion, and once we've rubbed it a little bit, then we're going to come up square with it. But it's going to be all, if you notice, if I didn't rub, it would be this motion. It's that motion. See how it rolls into it? Yeah? That's what we're doing. Yeah? So I'm coming in with my first guard, rubbing just above the line, below the line and above it, yeah? And then we're rotating to come up square, yeah? Same again. And when I speed it up, can you see how it just flows into it, naturally? See it's how it's all flowing into it. And we're making sure we're bringing it all the way up to our 2 as well. Because all you're going to do is create a load of weight here, and once you finish all your guards, I'm going to come over and then have to take so much off again. So make sure we're flowing all the way up, yeah? So it's exactly the same thing, yeah? Coming off this protruding point here, rubbing, like this, rubbing. See how it's like a rocking motion, guys? And then it just comes up square, yeah? But remember, we're coming up square from that protruding point that we're using, that curvature, yeah? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's nice about it now is you lot understanding the things that I'm saying now as well, rather than our first week when I was like, tuning point, you're like, what? So, makes it a lot easier.
See, I don't like agreeing anymore, because when you put me on the spot and I forget,
Yeah.
there's no good to say.
He's smart. James, do you get what I mean?
No.
You don't?
I'm just watching, you just go.
Yeah? What do you need help with?
We'll have a one-to-one about it.
What do you need help with?
No, nothing. You got it.
No, you tell me.
When you've got a guy in your chair,
Yeah.
and you go, what's that? No matter who you are, how smart you are, you freeze and your mind just goes, no, I take it away.
So can you see, guys? How it's all flowing into it, yeah? And you see how at the same time it's not dipping in the head.
So you're actually really taking off the whole of the two, pretty much, aren't you?
You're not taking off
what
the
I mean.
whole two.
No.
But if you imagine, this is your angle of your clipper work, yeah? You've done your two, that's perfectly square.
Right.
Now, you know it's going to go in my 175, it's slightly going to get in. Just going to take that little snippet of that two off.
From where it connects to the...
See? So I'm not wiping out the two, I'm just trying to blend it all in together. So every grade you take, you're probably going to take about that much off the two. Every little time. Yeah? Is that alright, Jay? Yeah?
When
I got you agreed, yeah?
When someone wants a line, yeah, you know, when you get that thing, would you just stop at that guard there?
When what? If they
You know,
want
when some people want the line,
Oh, the step.
would you still just do like a, you just wouldn't scrub it as much to knock it all out?
Yeah,
Still
you want
fade
to
it.
just you want to take a light layer off, but I'll just fade it lower. So you see, I've given myself all this space to blend. I'll give myself that much, so it just looks like a thicker line, like a thicker blend. Yeah, because you never want to just do the two and that, because don't look great. You want to do something. So by giving them a really tight fade, from afar you're looking, it's like it's a proper step still. But at least it looks like you've done something.
That's what I was just thinking there, that looks kind of probably, I've seen some people have their hair.
Yeah. See guys, the same thing. Rubbing, coming up. Just flowing with it, yeah? See that? Imagine like a rocking chair. You know a rocking chair, how it just keeps rocking back and forth. That's what you're doing with your rubbing. But you're just letting this attachment just do it for you. It's just rubbing on the head. Yeah? And then once you've rubbed enough, you're just letting it flow through what your clipper wants to do. So as you see, you're rubbing and then you're letting it flow up.
I always get a bit scared that I'm going to take a bit of the hair out the top.
Don't worry, if that top of that hair needs to come off, it needs to come off.
It'll do it.
But as long as you have your hand strong, yeah? None of that. Because it's going to bobble in and you're going to have bumps where it's going to be shorter and longer, yeah? If you see, watch. Coming up, look how strong I am. Yeah? My clipper stays exactly the same way it needs to. So after I've done that now, still hardly any weight to deal with on the top. Now we're going to go with our 1.5 fake, yeah? With the teeth closed, 1.5. Same again, rubbing, rotating up. See how I'm coming up and I am taking some of the two off, yeah? So don't be scared, guys. As long as your angle is perfect, it's going to be exactly the same way all your other guards have done. So it's not going to take off too much to what you need to take off, yeah? See how I always hold my clipper as well, always have my finger there, just for that support, yeah. Because especially this guard, it gets loose so quick and it comes off. Always hold it there, don't hold it on the bottom bit because that will snap it off, just on this bit here, yeah?
You can get the ones with the metal bits on, are they a bit better for that reason?
Depends what one you're talking about.
Like the wild ones?
There's two. There's these new ones called the Premiers. They're really good. Or there's the other ones where it's just got like a metal thing that you just slot in on the corners. They're rubbish. Don't even buy them. Now guys, what's next? Perfect. See how my clipper work is all blending in together now and it's bringing up that weight, yeah?
So 1.5 true.
1.5 true. So same again, that same motion, can you see where it dips there? We're resting on that bit, so rotate where it goes flat, yeah? So rubbing, just following it up square. And remember as well guys, when you're doing your clipper work, the size of your teeth is each column, yeah? So the only bit of what you need to take into your next column from your previous is probably about that much of your teeth. Yeah? So I've done my first bit and then I bring it over just so we don't make a line, yeah? Of hair that we're missing. As you can see guys, because I'm coming off that protruding point, I'm taking less off the top bit here. So when, look, I'm rotating on it to come up, and look, I've left the head. See how I've left the head now? I'm just taking whatever sits into my grade. But if you do that the same on every clipper of coming at right angle, it will literally take off what you need, rather than coming away too much on your previous ones, and then you've got a bump. And then that's when I come in, I've got to slightly come in the curvature to blend it out for you, yeah? That's why if you get it perfect from the beginning, you're fine. So now guys, R1, with the teeth closed, R1, yeah? Rubbing on the line, coming up square. So yeah, I'll do a few rubs though and then I'm following it up square. This is reducing time for me, yeah? Next column, yeah? See how that's saving me time now? And then if you need to go over anything that you've missed, you can go back to it and you're fine. Yeah? And then I'm on to my next guard now. So now, 0.75 with it open, yeah? Same thing again, rubbing on the line, rotating up square. Now you can see, because the guard is smaller, I am going to come off square off that protruding point, but it is going to come away from the head, because it's a smaller grade, yeah? But you're not purposely moving it away from the head, you're just coming square off that protruding point, yeah? Same thing again, that rocking motion, yeah? Yeah? I'm just speeding it up. So have you noticed, guys, since I've taken out my 025 and I've done this work here, 2, 0 and 025, the rest of the haircut is like I'm doing a 0.5 fade now.
Yeah.
See the difference?
Working down through the braids.
Makes it easier for you. So what do I do next, guys, after I've done my 0.75?
625 in the bed.
What's before that?
0.5 fake, isn't it?
0.5 fake.
He was nearly there.
Oh, you had the 75. I see. I was a step ahead.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was in the future. So, 0.5 fake, fake, as we can see here. Yeah, and we're just gonna rub out on that line, yeah? You see how all I'm doing is using a few of my teeth, and the more flat we are, the more it's gonna take off, yeah? Coming in. If we're like that, it's not gonna cut efficiently to how we want it to be, yeah? We're rubbing on the line, and we can use both sides, and we're working our way around, yeah? And now you can start to see, can you see the line starting to come out? Because we've done our 0.25. If we didn't do that 0.25, this would not be getting out that zero line now, because it'd be too long for it, yeah?
So the 0.5 fake, we never put it flat, we always do it with an edge.
Yeah.
One side or the other.
Because we're just trying to break out that line now, yeah? So this is what we do on our 0.5, right?
What happens if you do put it flat?
It's just that you could take too much off to what you want. It's just because you're working in a smaller scale to blend it in efficiently. Where if you go more flat, you might bring up the 0.5 too high. Where this, all I'm doing is rubbing, taking it up a centimetre again. Like what I've done with my 0.25, yeah? Where if I didn't do the 0.25, and I've done my zero, done the whole clipper work, and I'd get out that 0.25, I would take this off, go to a 0.25, and I would just use a few of my teeth. The only reason I go flat with the 0.25 is because I haven't done the fade yet, so I don't need to worry about it. Where here, I've done all my fade now. So now I just want to just refine it and take little bits off, rather than, you know, cleaning it all off, and I'm like, oh, now I've got to bring up my 1 again, now I've got to bring up my 1.5, got to take it higher, yeah? So by going with a few of the teeth, it just makes it easier for us not to mess it up.
He uses that a lot, Pat. You know that Simon Cowell. You know
Does
that?
it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've heard that a couple of times now. He was saying it to Robert the other day. I felt well sorry for him.
I've never heard him say it.
Robert's going, Simon? Simon? Exactly.
Simon Cowell from X Factor. No,
See? When he was using it, I was thinking, yeah, poor fella.
he's got a lot of money. And a rubbish haircut. So can you see how it's bringing out that line for us now, guys? Whenever I do the back, I always bring it slightly higher, ever so slightly than a centimetre. Because it's because we need to really stretch out that line to clear it away, yeah? See how it's reducing that line for us now, yeah?
sorry, quick question then. So the 0.75 before this, is that the last one that you're kind of properly rubbing across the curvature, and then after that you're just feathering around the edge?
Yeah. But with our 0.65, it's in between both. Okay. So I'll show you in a second.
Okay. So once you get to the 0.75, that's the last one, and then it's all about the finishing, kind of joining them.
Yeah. See how it's really taken out that line for us now. And whilst just using a few of the teeth, it's like refining little bits, so it makes it easier for us, yeah? So now guys, I've taken out the line, but can you see how it's added a little bit of weight just above it? You see?
Yeah.
So what do we do to get that out?
That's in between it, yeah, the point, what was it, 6.5 or?
0.625.
6.25.
Yeah?
That's what I need to remember all the steps. That's fine.
But basically that's halfway, the lever halfway, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just in between, so we've got right at the end, and that's 0. It's right in between it. Yeah? Probably think of a clock. 12 is 0, 6 is the 0.5, you're going at 3, right in the middle. Yeah? That helps.
Oh yeah, just find some more.
We've got the rocking chair, we've got the clock.
Trying to think of things that can make your
I like the
mind
rocking chair
remind
one,
it.
though, that sort of helps.
So now, 0.625, right in the middle, yeah?
6.25.
And all we're going to do on these bits, it's got a bit of a shadow, we're going to come flat to it, but we're just doing the rocking motion. Okay. We're not coming up square, just rocking on that line that it's now created, yeah? You see how I'm just rocking on it? See that?
And are we pushing this up? Like the...
No,
this is just...
no.
Okay.
This is just, remember the rocking motion? We're not coming up square afterwards, just rocking on that.
So just to blend the 0.5 with the...
Yeah, but with this you're just refining.
Okay.
So as it says on the book, it's in between our 0.75 and our 0.5.
Okay.
Yeah? So it's literally, we've done our 0.75, we've gone out with the line to take that out, so now there's that gap in between. We're just targeting that gap. It's another centimetre we're dealing with. That's it, yeah?
What happened to your W or V motion?
That's just with the 0.5 fake. Yeah? Because now, all we're targeting is just that line, so we can go with it, yeah? And then when it comes to bits that, let's say there's dips in the head, and I can't get it, then I'll go back to the W motion, yeah? These are all techniques you can use on any way you want. Yeah?
Sorry, what grade is the W on?
It's only on the 0.5.
0.5.
But if you're using the 0.625 and you're doing it normal, but then there's little dips in the head where you can't grab it, then you have to go with the teeth, yeah? So as I can see here, the 0.5 didn't get out enough, so I'm going back with the 0.5 just to bring out that line a little bit more. And then back to my 0.625, just blending it out. It's just that rocking motion, guys, yeah? I'm not trying to bring it too high up, I'm just targeting that thick patch, yeah? As well though, when you're doing it, it's quite a light sort of touch. You're not trying to really go further on the head, yeah? Because you're just refining. If you feel that it's not coming out, then that's when you can go a little bit further, yeah? But you're just judging from what you can see.
So if you rush this right, it would just be imperfections naturally, right?
Yeah. That's why zero fades can take a little bit longer. Nice. There's a really cool picture coming up on our Instagram in about another 2 weeks.
Cool picture.
I'm doing his beard and your camera's there, and he gets your camera and us doing your beard. It looks like a really cool picture.
Is that the one the photographer took?
Yeah. But you can see your phone with me in it and then me on the side of it. It looks cool.
It's a vain-minded error.
I'm sorry, but it's a really cool picture. It's just because you were talking about recording, that's why. Can you see how it's really smoothed all that out now, yeah? And because I can see here, it just looks a little bit heavy for me, so I'm just going to go back to my 0.75 and just refine on certain patches, yeah?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah?
So I was wondering, how do you know to go to the 75?
Because I always want to go high grade. So my last grade that I done where I went flat was 0.75, so I'm not going to go with my 0.65. Because no, it's going to take it too short.
Too short, sorry.
Yeah? Or even if you feel that's too much weight there, I'll go, oh, maybe I'll put my 1 on it. It's always just go a little bit longer, and then you can work your way back down. But at the same time as well, whenever I go with that guard I put on, I always go soft at first, so I'll come in really soft. Oh, is it taking loads off? No, it's fine, so I can push a bit harder. Yeah? That's how I judge it. I never just go straight in and do it hard. But this is only if you need to refine, yeah? Because everyone's hair is different. You know, some people's hair, you can do it and it sits perfect. But as you can see with his hair at the back, it always bounces up. So I'll keep putting it down and going back at it. Yeah? And another thing, guys, for me, on the back, because it's so dark and more density there, right here I can see there's a slight line. Ever so slightly. Yeah? Maybe you lot can't see it. I can.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's very subtle.
Pretty sure I'll go. But it is what it is.
Yeah? It's very subtle, yeah? But I want to show you this, just if it ever comes out. Going to a 0.5, true. And just on that line with a few of the teeth, just to edge it. Remember, guys, I've got really OCD when it comes to hair, so
It's good.
you might not see things, but trust me, someone will. That's why when I come over to you and go, oh, you're not even cutting anything. Trust me, I'm cutting something. I'm doing it to my own work. Come on, guys.
This is not even on there.
Oh yeah, sorry. But as we can see, for me, it looks a little bit lighter. Can any of you see it?
Yeah.
It looks a bit lighter now, yeah?
Don't encourage him, Louis. Don't encourage him, man.
What's that?
Don't encourage him.
Another thing, you can go to a 0.25 again and just go on that line just to edge it out. All I'm doing is just flicking on that line with a few of the teeth. Can you see? These are all other ways that if you're ever in a like a bit where you think, oh my god, the line's not come out, I've done the whole fade, and you've done all your work with clippers and you know it's not your higher guard, then you do this. Just with a few of the teeth. And by doing it with a few of the teeth and only coming up a little bit, you're not going to go into your clipper work and have to do it all again. So that's one thing that you need to be sure about when you're doing this. that you're not coming too high up, yeah?
Can you use that same approach with the edge of the teeth on the trimmers for a taper, the neck taper?
Yeah?
If you've kind of done your best to go down the grades, but there's still a bit of a... Can you sort of use the edge of the trimmer to sort of do that?
Well, as in, like, say you was doing a 2 back and side, and you was going down to your 1. Yeah, you could go with that. Yeah.
To sort of feather it in.
Yeah. I'd always say go square first, but then if there's bits that you need to refine, then you can refine, yeah? So guys, the clipper work's pretty much done now, yeah? See how smooth it looks now? So, now we can see that's done, yeah? Now what I'm going to do, go with my detailers and literally just put lines around the edges and just taper the back with flicking out with this, yeah? So come in with our lines. Exactly the same way, and now you can see, I'm literally, this is how I want you to do all your outlines. I'm literally just going on the outline, the hairline, because that's what's going to make it look sharper, yeah? Using a few of the teeth around the edges. Same again here.
It does help though.
And if there's bits I missed, I'll just come in this way. Huh?
You know when you cut some people's hair, like, you can tell that they've had a haircut recently, it makes your life easier, right? When you get a guy that just hasn't had it cut in months, you can easily cut in new bits, right?
Yeah. That's why you got to get yours perfect. So when that happens, basically you're creating your haircut of what you want them to be. Yeah? As you can see on my one, guys, on my client here, see here, you can't really see much, can you? So for me, where I want to go is literally to here. So can you see it's just the start of the hairline? Like, obviously for me, I've had 5 years of doing this, but naturally when I look at hair now, because I've got it so like in my head, I know exactly where I want my line. I draw it. I'm looking at his hair now and I can see a line here. That's what I can see, yeah? And I know that's where I want my line to go. So that's how you lot want to get, yeah? You want to get to the point where it's just natural. You know where you need to put the line, yeah? And exactly where I said I was going to put the line, I put the line. Yeah? Because I draw it in my vision for where I'm going to go, so I know exactly where to put it. You see how I've created that line exactly where I want it to go? That's why before you even cut it in, you've got to see it as well, yeah? You've got to see where you're putting your line. And remember, when we're coming in the line, I'm coming in, I'm dragging it down. That's going to make it sharper. A lot of you are like just tapping on it, and then you've got all hair left here, and you can't even see the line of where you put it. So you've got to come on the line, slightly come away. Exactly like when you're doing a hard parting. Exactly the same thing, yeah? And then you come, flip the clipper the other way, and just clean up all your excess, yeah? And then I've done my outlines, and to flick it out, I'm just going to come in, C motion, yeah? Reason why I'm doing this is because remember what I say, guys, on the back, in about a day, that's going to look pretty much longer than this. So we always want to take it slightly shorter, just to flick it out, yeah? But all we're doing is just very low. I'm not even taking it to the bottom of the mash rod, I'm taking it halfway of that, yeah? It's just literally a little bit, just to taper it. Can you see how it goes slightly shorter? Yeah? Okay. And now we're going to do the top. Has anyone got water in there? How's that looking for you so far? Is that alright? I'm just going to pop the hair off you. Thank you. So another thing when we're wetting the hair, guys, spray it, comb it down. At the same time, I'm always combing, because then you won't put too much on the head. A lot of you go, oh, I need a towel because I've sprayed them too much. Just spray it, wipe it, yeah? See, I'm moving the hair in the way I want it to go. So look, he's dripping, but it's not going to go into his eyes because I've done it all this way, yeah? Thank you. So, we've got the part in there, guys. Yeah? Remember, cut exactly the same way. Take the part in out. Don't be scared of the disconnection. You're going to cut exactly the same way. So, my client said he wanted about that much, guys, yeah? I'm just going to clarify with him. Yeah? Would you like to pass the... Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah? Perfect. Come off from the apex. Second knuckle, yeah? Work our way down. Just because I've grabbed a little bit of the next column, I'm just going to take it off as well, yeah? So, there we go, so now we've got our guide, yeah? I'm going to sweep, and with the shape, what we're going to do, guys?
Square it around.
Square it around, yeah? And another thing, remember what I want you to do at the beginning of the haircut before you even cut it, is check what the shape is on the top. So, I already know that on this haircut it will square it around. Yeah, that's what I want you to check when you first get the hair. Yeah, so we check where it is. So when I come over, I want you to say, Errol, it was squared around on the top last time, but I think it should be square this time, or something like that. Yeah. So we've got our guides. We're just cutting into it. Yeah. You see how I'm working down my column, guys? I'm just matching it in. Because a lot of you are leaving that last column. So as you can see, cut this bit, making sure it all mixes in, then I'm going to that last column, look. Grabbing right here and bringing it up square. Just to take that last little bit, yeah? It's like very minimal, but it's better to be safe than go, oh, I've done that last bit, it's done, yeah? Same again, following it all the way, yeah? So now, last column, well, second from last should I say, slightly bend the knuckles, and we're going round, yeah? Got my guide there, slightly going round. It's better to go a little bit at a time going round rather than just taking loads off, over directing, and suddenly you've got a point. Yeah? Just pulling it up, following it round. See that? Taking that off. So now it's slightly rounded. Now I'm going to get this last column. Now I've got that last corner to take off to round off, and then I've done round. See? So it's taking it a step at a time, little bit by little bit, yeah? See that, guys?
That's the shape of the head,
Yeah. So then when you pull it up, it's just going round. Yeah?
And we just carry on back just behind the apex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we come from matching to the apex. I'm sweeping to the next one. Working down our column. I'm going to go round at the back. Coming back from our previous, a lot of you just come straight to here. Go back to your previous, see if there's anything that needs to be done, then bring it to your next column, yeah? To your next section. Sweeping around, always going back to my apex. Look, there's a bit there to take off. Going back down the section. Now working our way down, yeah? Because even though it's the smallest bit, that smallest bit can change the whole column, yeah? Now I'm going to cross check it, see if there's anything that needs to come off, like there. Same again.
Yeah, alright. You got a bit of a weight in.
Minimal stuff I'm doing now. Yeah? So now I've done the top. What am I going to do now? Yeah? Perfect. Rough dry and clean. Because it's too short for me to connect it when it's wet. Yeah? Making sure my back and my sides go straight down natural, and then I can start putting my disconnection in again. Yeah? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my parting line back in, and then I'm going to do a little bit of clip over comb on the back so you can see, yeah? Coming in, making sure I've got my parting line nice and clean, yeah? Is that where you have it? Back there? Yeah? Now guys, I'm going to come in exactly the same way we do scissor over comb. Exactly the same way, yeah? So we're going to come in, rotate off that protruding point, following it up square. Yeah? So coming in, rotating, coming up square. Yeah? You see? Coming up square, yeah? See how much of a difference it makes? Working our way up. I'm coming off this protruding point here. And I have my clipper fixed on it and I'm just wiping across. Don't push it in, it's going to go shorter. Have the strength in the comb, I'm going to cross it. Yeah? Yeah, I'm resting out from this protruding point. Coming out that way. I don't want to come in. Yeah? Working my way up. Same again, guys, coming in, see I'm rotating, I'm using this bottom bit here, yeah, to come off the protruding point, and coming square up there, yeah, coming in, waiting for it to fall in the base of my comb, wiping across, following it up, I'm keeping this strength the whole time, I don't want to push the comb in, yeah, coming up, same again, coming in, just falling in the base of my comb there, just wiping up. Yeah? When you lot are doing this though, do it slow. When you're coming in, wipe. Wipe. Yeah? Don't do it quick. The quicker you do, you're going to put pressure on your comb, especially if you're not used to it, and then you're going to go in. Yeah? Remember, this is for refining when we come in the opposite way. And this is to take off loads of weight. Yeah? If we need to just refine on little bits, we can, yeah? Even for me, I can see, just with my 1.5, I'm going to go back to just a little bit here, where it looks a bit heavy. And I can notice it's not taking enough off, so I'm going to go back down to my 1. And there it is. Yeah? See how I always go with a higher guard, just to clarify. Back to my 1.5, just to clarify. I'm using all the things that I can use, yeah? All my techniques, yeah?
Got any products in your head?
So now, what am I going to do? Yeah. Because now there's very minimal to deal with, yeah? Because I'm targeting so high up here, I'm coming off that higher curvature. Remember the 3 that I said? The 3rd one's here. So I'm just coming off there. You see?
So for us, do we have to be careful because we're going on that high point, not to like push in with the cones?
No.
Wipe it
Yeah,
out?
you just want to come square off that bit, yeah? In a sense, you know, like when I said we were doing the 0625, and we're literally just flicking on that line, it's the same thing I'm doing with this, yeah? I'm just coming square on that line there, and taking that off, yeah?
So are we bringing the comb like straight up, or do we follow it round?
I'm still just coming square. So even though I'm coming on a higher curvature, I'm just coming square off that higher curvature there, yeah? So it will look like you're coming up slightly higher. I mean, you'll look like you're coming around the curvature, but all you're doing is just coming off that protruding point. And the only reason I'm doing that is because that's where I can see the weight is. So you're targeting wherever the weight is, yeah?
Cool.
I'm always looking in the mirror, guys. Yeah?
Guys, what are we doing on the left side? Stick up. Short and fine. Short and fine? Yeah. Put one coming back to us. So you're in the thing. No, just saying, because if we are, then I have to get
Do you want a line cutting as well in your partner, or just as natural? Yeah? Same again, I'm coming off this protruding point. Coming up square there. So I'm not taking too much of the crown off, yeah? Can you see he's still got his crown, yeah? Remember, you're always just targeting that weight line. You're not trying to bring it all the way in or anything like that, you're just targeting on that weight line.
Gladys noticed the almond side was 2 weeks. Nice to get away from it. Yeah. Just a week. Just a week. You did them before? No. They all come outside. Whereabouts in Italy?
You see how I'm coming up? Slightly coming in. This is when I can round it off, yeah? So I'm coming square, rounding it in. I'm using this bottom bit here to round it in, yeah? Now after we've targeted that, guys, we're now going to move on to our fringe, yeah? And I'm going to start from this corner here. Just round it off, yeah? We're only going to take off minimum. Same on the other side. See, I'm point cutting into it as well. I don't want you going flat. Point cutting into it, yeah? Yeah? And now we use the white comb. Take out them corners. And on this side, am I going to follow it round? Am I going to follow the fringe round? Exactly. I wanted to hear. Just round this way. And then we connect in from this bit here, yeah?
Alright.
Then we can just check the top as well.
Yeah, I used to, yeah. But my boss just got it
Corner there. This is why I want you lot to check your work as well before I get there, because sometimes when you're cutting it wet, you will have little problems. So when it's dry, if you're checking it and I come back and there's still problems, then at least I can identify, alright, we need to work on it a bit more, rather than me just going, yeah, you need more work here and there, yeah?
Staircases and windows and stuff like that. It is quite difficult, yeah, but it's just like, I don't think you don't want to make furniture.
I'm just doing a bit of texturising.
And when do we do this way versus the other way, where we grab like a bigger sort of chunk of it?
Yeah, I'm going to do that for you next.
Are they just two different types? You
Yeah.
do one or the other sort of thing?
Yeah. All I'm doing now is just round the sides. And then on the top, because it's not that long, we just come in with our comb and we can stretch the hair a bit more. And we're going straight to the way the hair's coming out, yeah? And as you can see, when I'm coming to the back, the hair's going that way, so that's why I started turning more into it, yeah?
Do like a stool or a table, like a little mouse for a leg, and that's like his signature. Yeah. Okay, doesn't it look nice stuff? I had a look on it. I think like the coffee table is like 600-700 quid.
What I want to see more of as well, guys, is you leafing as well, yeah?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, once you've had a few drinks, people probably want to do what it is.
Just looks a bit thick on the back, so I just want to go over it a little bit more. Now, we've got some product in here. I'm going to put some product in the client's hair.
Yeah.
And we start leafing it, yeah? So we'll go and get some mat.
Do you mind if I ask, do you usually have a zero fade, or is this your first time? Or
No, usually.
usually it's quite a contrast, isn't it, after it's grown out a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah, it's running. To be honest with you, a day like today, it's probably going to be quite a few no-shows anyway. Yeah, when the weather's not great.
Always stand back with the hair as well, guys, remember?
Yeah. I know, yeah, 'cause a lot of people say oh, it's free hair. Really free. Yeah. So I know, like, a lot of places, you know, so you want to get the fine for it or you have to pay like a coin, but that's kind of like your incentive to spin up.
What I'm going to do is just put in the part in again.
If someone didn't turn up, I'd probably just get my hair. Yeah. So then someone else would
Product in.
someone else would
Are you going to try and sell that product now?
I'm not going to say that.
That's what we feel like.
Yeah, but do I say to you?
Timer's going off and then you're like, hang on a minute, let me remember to tell this kids about this product.
This is part of your call. I'm not the one that writes your call.
I like that you got to turn it around a little bit.
Yeah.
Expensive, huh?
You should be the narrator, I love it. And at this moment in time, everyone was on the fence.
He's caught him on the back foot.
Yeah. So I'm just going to wash my hands. And I'm going to do a little bit of leafing. With the hair dryer, yeah? Guys, even when you do it, go and wash your hands afterwards. All you end up doing is putting more product on your hair dryer, yeah? That's why it only takes a minute just to do it, yeah? Obviously, if you're running late, then... So when we're leafing, guys, as you can see, I'm coming in and I always start from the back. And it's like you're scooping the hair and then bringing it out with the comb, yeah? And remember, the products that we're selling are what's the word? Word's gone. Basically, we can use it when we're using a hairdryer. Yeah, it works better. So we can put the product in and then use it. It's not like it's going to wipe all the product that we just put out. Yeah. Just got the word and the name of it. Normally using that in your hair. Oh, okay. I would suggest mat is the best for you. It's more of a dry look.
Yeah, that's the thing about those. If you find you don't like consistent harder. Yeah. It's back over at my airport, you know how hard it is.
How's that looking? Can someone go and get me mirror, please? I'm just going to take a picture of it as well. Is that alright?
I like to say when I was doing joinery fit, the reason I got into it is actually I like to with my own DJ. I didn't realise how
That's alright.
me, my boss, and one of the guys. Yeah.
Is that alright for you?
It wasn't really a great deal.
Thank you. So, now guys, we've done that. Clean the back of the client's neck with all them last little bits of hair, yeah? Just to make sure there's nothing else there. Because you don't want a client going home and a friend or a family or a partner ends up seeing little bits of hair on the back of the neck. Oh, they've missed bits. You don't want that. Yeah? Nothing more embarrassing, the client walking back in, excuse me, you left bits on the... Yeah? Just, trust me, get it out of the way so it's all done. One thing that happened to one of my old bosses once, he done the guy's sideburns, left one and the other was a lot shorter, and he come in full shot and he goes, mate, you missed my bloody sideburn. Do you know how embarrassing it was for him? So trust me, it's better to get the job done perfectly. So we use the cold air, get all the loose hairs off, we use our brush, bit of water around the neck and that.
If you're enjoying it, no one's going to do that hard.
On the forehead as well.
Well, that staircase is really thick.
There we go. That's right. Just get that here off you as well. All done. Is that alright for you? Good. Nice to meet you. Take care.
Good haircut.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.